Today we're checking out Valiant Universe, the deck building game from Catalyst Game Labs and Valiant Comics. I'm not even that well versed with the Valiant Comics, with the exception of the character Exo Man of War because of the 90s game Exo Man of War and Iron Man in Heavy Metal, I think Panic or something like that. Not quite sure, but there is a game with them both featured. Not really sure what's going on here, but it does look like this deck building game may be more combative than the other ones we played in the past, where they are at first more cooperative and then become kind of combative in certain occasions, or at least at the end of the game when you're trying to see who has the most points. So looking at the side of the box, we have who is no doubt one of the characters, and that's about it. Another character, she's actually on the front. Yeah, not too much new going on here. I'm going to assume that's at least 4 of the characters in the game. The facility awaits. Hidden beneath Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary is a massive hidden research installation run by the secret organization known as Project Rising Spirit. This mysterious installation, codenamed the Facility, uses unknown energies to morph and transform itself at will to keep horrific villains, dangerous creatures, alien entities, and top secret research projects trapped within. Rumors of the Facility's existence and its most prized possessions have leaked, and the Valiant Universe's most powerful organizations, the Harbinger Foundation, the Renegades, Gate, and many more, are talking in interest. Talking? I think that should be taking an interest. The world may never be the same. In Valiant Universe, the deck building game, you command an organization attempting to seize the secret Alcatraz base. Purchase cards to craft a unique deck, and battle your way through ever-changing facility grid that moves during play to gain access to a card or damage another player. Maneuver your superhero miniature to battle it out with other superheroes for ultimate control. Contents: 5 superhero miniatures, so it seems like there are up to 5 players to play as, or maybe even 5 organizations to use. 15 power cards, 5 zone of influence cards, 5 organization cards, 175 sector cards, 25 basic cards, 25 shutdown cards, 1 facility durability tracker, 1 six-sided die, and 1 sheet of cardboard counters. Looking here, it should be about a 2-hour game with 2 to 5 players, so you at least need 1 friend to play with, but can go up to the maximum number of superheroes, which is 5. Ages 13 plus. So this seems pretty neat. I guess MSRP was $60, but we'll see how much fun we can get out of this. I did not even know this deck building game existed, because what I usually do is I'll look up like deck building games. Those are definitely my favorite types. This one didn't pop up on my radar until very recently, which was odd because this game is from 2015, I think. So it's almost 10 years old as of today, as of recording in 2024. These are the tokens. They're actually pretty thick. I don't know if you can really make out how thick that is, but it's a pretty big chip. For context, a quarter is maybe half of that, maybe 2/4 in width. And that, I don't even know if people use quarters as much anymore. That might even not be a great comparison, but we'll set that aside. The Catalyst Handbook of Game Elements. I think this just shows off various, Battletech, Shadowrun, Jarl, Viking tile laying game. Valiant Universe is what we have, right? RPG deck building, yeah. So this is just like a little catalog. But is that Bravest Warriors? Oh, there's a Bravest Warriors Encounters something. There's a whole bunch of IPs that they have the ability to print games for, so that's cool, but it's like kind of a nothing thing. These, on the other hand, must be character cards? Okay, so here we have the Project Rising Spirit. Project Rising Spirit is the secret side of the multinational corporation Rising Spirit Securities, self-defined as a security firm. Formed decades ago to push the boundaries of psionic powers and super soldier programs, PRS experiments in the creation of weapons and protection. While much of their organization was recently compromised, the existence of the facility demonstrates PRS is as capable and dangerous as ever. Bloodshot. The subject known as Bloodshot is the focal point of the Project Bloodshot, part of Project Rising Spirit. This program infused Bloodshot with nanites that provide enhanced physical attributes, electronic communication, rapid healing, and a limited ability to alter the subject's appearance. Bloodshot was then fed a series of false memories to properly motivate him for his next mission and keep him occupied until he's needed. There's arrows, 2 arrows in every direction. I wonder if that matters or if that's just nothing. I don't know. So we have his character card for a Bloodshot. What I see here is 3 different abilities, 3 levels to each of the abilities, which we'll see across all 5 characters. Hero, Super, and Legendary. So his first ability is Nanite Regeneration. I need protein. Hero, once per turn, discard 2 to heal 1. Super, once per turn, take 2 damage to draw an extra card. Legendary, once per turn, take 1 damage to draw an extra card. Replaces his superpower. So you can't do this instead. I guess this replaces that. I wonder if that means you can still do that. Control Computer. I'm not what you think I am. Hero, +1 damage when attacking from a shutdown sector. Super, +1 damage. Legendary, +1 attack range. Once per turn, you may trash 1 card from the sector Bloodshot currently occupies. Psionic Resistance. Why can't you people just leave me alone? Hero, shutdown sectors do not damage Bloodshot. Super, -1 damage from superheroes not located in the same sector as Bloodshot. Legendary, whenever a superhero damages Bloodshot, that superhero automatically receives 1 damage. So you want to hurt me, you have to take 1 yourself. Set that one aside. Next up is the Harbinger Foundation. Toya Harada, a survivor of the bombing of Hiroshima, has used his extraordinary telepathic abilities to build the incredibly powerful Harada Global Conglomerates. Using HGC as a front, Harada created the Harbinger Foundation, which recruits and trains Psiots for his own private army. Together, Harada and the Harbinger's Foundation strive to carry out his vision for a better world. Livewire. In a world full of technology, Amanda McKee lives by an old code, one that far predates smartphones, tablets, and the internet. Bushido, the way of the warrior. Toya Hirado rescued her from a group orphanage, but he did not wish to raise a daughter. He intended to train a samurai, a capable teletechnopath able to communicate directly with machines and electronics. Livewire learned from Harada and pledged herself to his service. And just like the first one, Project Rising Spirit, there's just arrows in every direction. I guess it means nothing. Okay, so Livewire, Tech Burst. Technology is my friend. Hero, once per turn, may lock a sector. Super, may shift a sector. Super, may shift a locked sector using a shift card. Legendary, play 1 damage to any superheroes on locked sectors, excluding herself. Manipulate electronics. All this technology you can't begin to understand. Hero, the sector Livewire occupies cannot be locked or unlocked. Superhero, move to any Harbinger sector. Must start on a Harbinger sector and no other movement is allowed. Legendary, once per turn, swap any 2 Harbinger sectors. Livewire cannot occupy either sector. Multi-tool / levitation field. Hero, +1 movement. Super, cost to purchase card Livewire is on is reduced by 1 to a minimum of costing 1. So she can't reduce anything to make it free. Legendary, damage applied to Livewire is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1 when she is on a Harbinger sector. So any damage or anytime she's attacked, she has to take at least 1 damage. If it would have taken more than 0, I'm wondering if there's ever a time where you would take 0 damage, but some other effect would take place. But in that instance, you wouldn't have to reduce the damage anyway. Rye. This is 4001 AD, led by an artificial intelligence father. The island nation of New Japan has expanded out of the Pacific and into geosynchronous orbit with the ravaged Earth below. With billions to feed and protect, Father must rely on a solitary guardian to enforce the law of his empire, the mysterious folk hero known as Rai. A technologically enhanced hero engineered to defend New Japan from all enemies, Rai represents Father's greatest achievement. For hundreds of years, Rai has single-handedly enforced New Japan's justice and served Father without question, yet Rai is about to inherit the dark truth behind his origin and discover the sinister secret at heart of Father's existence. For New Japan to live, Earth must die. As Rai challenges his former master for the first time in more than a millennium, the lone guardian of New Japan will be cast out of his father's kingdom. Valiant Universe deck building game. As various organizations clash in the secret facility located beneath Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, a time arc abruptly opens and stabilizes, creating a temporary link between the facility and New Japan. Father, ever inquisitive and protective, sends Rai to determine the benefits of this new experience and eliminate any threats. Rules: Rai can be used in place of any superhero miniature power card in the game. After selecting an organization to play, use the Rai miniature and power card in the space of that organization's miniature, superhero miniature, and corresponding power card. So he seems to be an interesting one at that. Father's predictive algorithms. Father prepared me. Hero may use any other superhero's non-legendary ability used in the previous round. Super may use any other superhero's activated non-legendary ability. Legendary. Use any other superhero's non-legendary ability. No other actions allowed. Okay, so this one is that they use last round. This one is activated ability, and this one is just any non-legendary, so he can't copy other legendary abilities. Transmigration. Move to any of the 8 adjacent sectors. Rai can use his standard 1-sector movement before or after using this ability. Super. Move to any sector must start on that organization's sector and no other movement is allowed. Legendary. Move to any sector. Construct. Don't run. Hero. If on a sector with a superhero, roll d6. On 5 or 6, that superhero cannot move next turn. Super. If on a sector with a superhero, roll d6. On 5 to 6, the player controlling Rai can immediately move that superhero. Legendary. If on a sector with a superhero, roll d6. On 5 to 6, that superhero cannot take actions next turn. Rai can move, but no other actions allowed. That's interesting. Now, Gate. The Global Agency for Threat Excision, GATE, a once secret extension of the U.S. military, dedicates itself to detecting and countering threats of extraterrestrial origin. Originally known as MARO, Military Extraterrestrial Reconnaissance Outpost, the organization was effectively destroyed during the events of the Armor Hunters' alien invasion of Earth. The remains of MARO organized and rechristened itself as GATE. This group is willing to use any and all resources to protect Earth. That's where we get Exo Man of War. Born at the tail end of the 4th century, Eric of Dacia was destined for greatness. However, after a major defeat at the hands of the Romans in 402 AD, Eric was captured by Vine agents and forced to do work as a slave on their colony ship. He engineered a prison break and stole the armor of Shanhara, the Vine's most sacred relic. Upon returning to Earth, Eric found 1,600 years had passed. Regardless, together he and the armor of Shanhara strive to protect what remains of his people's descendants and challenge any who stand in their way. This current connection to Gate is one more step in that commitment. That's pretty cool. This is the only one I'm only somewhat kind of familiar with. Armor regeneration. Are there no more? Draw 1 card and discard 1 card at the beginning of the player's turn. At any time during the player's turn, draw 1 and discard 1. Once per turn, place 1 token on active augment card, where tokens might apply. Flight/sensor array. If there's a war they want, they will have it. +1 movement. You may move diagonally, and additional +1 movement. Energy weapon. The armor is a weapon, and weapons grant power. +1 superhero damage when attacking from gate sector, +1 attack range, and +1 additional superhero damage when attacking a superhero on their own sector. So if you're on enemy ground, I guess you do more damage to them, which is an interesting tip. Usually they do better on home turf rather than you hurting them more on their own home turf. Weaponeer, the largest manufacturer and retailer of black market weapons in the history of mankind. Weaponeer specializes in seeding the world's conflict zones. No weapon too deadly, no construct too dangerous, no client too evil, no request too outlandish. The client is always right when it means more death and destruction and more profits. Ninjak. Ninjak is the assassin you hire when you want the job done right with no loose ends. Although on paper he is an MI6 operative for the British government, he also performs freelance jobs for undisclosed reasons. His impressive array of training and gadgetry ensures he always has the right equipment for the job at hand. His allegiance to MI6 shows his love for the crown and country surpasses his mercenary sensibilities. Ninjak infiltrated Weaponeer to hunt down their secretive leadership, the Shadow 7. Let's take a look. He's a ninja. Let's see what Ninjak has. Smart gloves / boots. I don't retreat, I maneuver. Okay, there's quite a bit written on this one. Take 1 token at end of turn. If damaged, may discard 1 token to negate 1 damage. If there are tokens at the start of the next turn, draw 1 with a max of 2 for each token discarded. Take an additional +1 token as part of the hero ability. May discard unused cards at the end of player's turn for extra tokens to use with the hero power. Adaptive Camo. 1 can never be 2 prepared. If attacked by a superhero not on their own sector, roll a d6 on 1 or 2. Attack deals no damage. That's pretty cool. If attacked by a superhero not on their own sector, roll a d6 on 1, 2, or 3. Attack deals no damage. This replaces the hero ability, so I guess these stack, unless they say otherwise. Legendary. If another superhero is on Ninjak's sector, any damage dealt to Ninjak is automatically assigned to other superhero. That's crazy. Shuriken. Time for you to pay your tab. +1 attack range. Additional +1 attack range and +1 damage. If damage is applied to Ninjak, any adjacent superheroes receive 1 damage. Pretty neat. Last but not least, we have the Renegades. Peter Stanchek was once Toyo Harada's prized pupil before he abandoned his would-be mentor and formed his own team of Psyot Renegades. Together they have set out on their own, looking for others like themselves to oppose Harada and the Harbinger Foundation. The world, abruptly becoming aware of the existence of Psyots, has painted an increasingly larger target on all of the Renegades' backs. Faith. After losing her parents in a car crash at a young age, Faith was raised by her grandmother, who was so super kind and encouraged her to read her parents' comic books and surround herself with everything they loved. Her life finally changed when Edward Sedgwick, one of Toyo Harada's students, approached her online. He wasn't interested in her, jerk, but he recruited her for the Harbinger Foundation. There, the cutie Peter Stanchek activated her powers, and she totally saved him from that creepy Harada dude later. Okay, so we have kind of Deadpool, She-Hulk, Fourth Wall-Y type character in Faith. Optimism. I totally save lives and stuff. At any time, the player may draw 1 card and place a card on top of the Renegade draw pile. Once per turn, discard 1 card and draw 2. That's good. Draw power is always good. Pop culture. Do you like Firefly? May immediately buy the same card another player just bought. Add to hand. May immediately buy the same card another player just discarded. Once per round, use the hero ability at -1 cost to a minimum of 1 card. Flight. I have to go faster. +1 movement. +2 attack range. Faith does not take damage from shutdown sectors while moving, provided her movement doesn't end there. +2 movement. At any time during her move, Faith may pick up and then drop other superheroes in other sectors. This is not a push action. So that's some kind of otherwise normal rule breaking things that she can do. Okay, so we have the coherence tracker for the different groups. I think they're all the same. Yeah, augment slot. Yeah, I'm guessing, and then there's nothing on the backside. So these just correspond to the 5 different companies that each of the characters represent. One thing I love about these deck building games based on comic books is that the covers tend to look like comics, at least for DC and now Valiant. I don't think the Marvel deck building game really did that. They had kind of a more squared off rule book. Oh, there's 2 here? Wait. Okay, so this is the deck building game rulebook, and this is some kind of RPG comic book play guide? What does that mean? Oh, it's a comic book. Oh, it's just straight up a comic book, I guess, based on the story of this game? Oh, wait, of the role-playing game, because you can continue the story in the Valiant universe, the role-play game. That is interesting. Should this have been in here, or I guess so. Hey, Valiant, the story starts here. The Valiant Mano Exo War. Yeah, here. This is actually what I was interested in, is finding the books and knowing where to start from. Because, I mean, otherwise, where would you start from? Like, I'm guessing several different books, like 6 different, there's 5 different heroes that I'm assuming are from 5 different books, and so getting into them is like, okay, where do I start? And this does give you a little bit more of a starting point, especially because most of them have their own named comic. So Mano X of War, Bloodshot, Ryan, and Jack, at least they have their own stuff, and then other characters might be in there as well. Wait, Faith was right there. There we go, Faith, Volume 1. So she has her own as well. So, yeah, that's really cool. A whole comic book with advertisements, I guess. That's neat. And then the rule book for the game itself. So this is the facility durability tracker, which players roll 1d6 at the end of each turn to determine damage sustained by the facility. If durability reaches 0, a sector shutdown occurs. So 36 to 0. So at the highest, that's like 6 turns if you get 6, 6, 6, you know. So that's interesting. So we have a gate card. These are tinier versions of them. I'm not really sure what that is. Maybe this will annotate which area is which. A normal, nothing special red die, D6. Cool. We have the miniatures, which I hope are not broken. Okay. It's pretty neat. Let's see if that's cool. Pretty neat. Live wire. Ninjax. Mano X of War. I think it looks like his armor, and he has some kind of energy sword. And then I think that's Bloodshot. He's got two guns. He's actually pretty neat to look at. None of them are painted. Well, that's fine. Then we have the cards, because this is a deck building game, so you need cards. So the Valiant deck building game. What do you know? It says Valiant. I mean, what else would you expect? Another stack that says Valiant, but these are both very similar. So I'm wondering if it's just like multiple packs of the same thing. Unless these are Firestarter. I don't really know what this would be. Maybe it's like 4 copies. Like these are all the same. This one obviously is different. Let's see. Set that aside for now. These are wrapped nicer, or at least tighter, than most of the other deck building games I've played. Which I don't really know what that really says about the other companies, but this is fairly nice packaging. Although putting these in just a bag is not great, because I am a little worried that these will eventually just get messed up beyond repair. Okay, so that deck's in there, and it, I thought was for a second I thought was stuck in there. So we got here, at least on the outside, looks like 5 very similar decks. They may not be the exact same, but right now they are looking that way. Then one of these. Ooh, reference card. That's really cool. So let's just open everything. Okay, so let's look at this one. Firestarter, Tactician, Scout, Hacker, Tank, Omega Psyot, the Soul. So these are all that one group. I'm wondering if these are all the same. Strategic Planning, Infiltration, False Flag, Covert Ops, Electronic Warfare, Reconnaissance, Ambush, then on Gate, Control Center, Nano Swarm, Satellite Defense System, Homing Device, Enhancement, Connections, Alien Technology, PRS Mind Reader, Telekinesis, Psyot Strike, Phase Out, Inferno, Pulse Cannon, Nanobots. For that other team, okay, we have Psychokinesis, Mind Control, Apportation, Telethesia, Atomize, Clairvoyance, and Medbot. Then we have shutdown cards for Gate, Harbinger, PRS, Renegades, and Weaponeer. So let's see if these other decks are like the same. Yeah, I think these are all the same. Yeah, these are the exact same. So I'm wondering if like you make your own decks, because there are 5 of them and there's up to 5 players, and if each of these decks are exactly the same, I'm wondering if they're you get one each, or you put them into a pile and they're just multiple copies of the same thing you can buy. I'm not too sure, but there's at least enough for every character, for every person playing, to get one. I'm wondering how the starter decks are, because these are 50... No, I guess not 55. I don't know. Sorry, that's 35. So there's 35 cards here. 35 each, and then these 5 shutdown cards. So not really sure what they are, but we'll eventually get into it and we'll play it. Reference cards. What does the back say? The back is literally the same thing as the other side. Whatever, that's fine. Reference cards are good to have, especially if you've never played it or it's been a while. Whatever. We'll put it into clear sleeves, double-sided. Then these cards are combat cards. These might be starting cards, because there's literally nothing else going on here. Yeah, probably one for each or 2. Manipulate. Yeah. Then maintenance, which is a goat. Okay, so there's... If I'm going to guess, when it comes to making a starter deck, if these are starter deck cards, there's 5. So there's 1 for each player. So everyone gets 1 of each. And this is the generic backing to the card, Valiant. Not even Valiant deck building game, but just Valiant. Okay, the Manipulate gets 1 each. Okay, and then there's enough for another round, so each get 2. That is. And this is probably like 2 or 3. So let's say 2. Yeah, there you go. And that is a 5-card hand. I don't really know where you go from there, but that'd be my guess, because those all seem generic, and the other cards had teams on them. So I'm actually wondering if what you actually do is take each piles these and put them at their sector. And these are the cards that you can buy from this sector. It'd be interesting to find out, and which we're definitely going to do because I do want to try this game out once everything is sleeved up. Before everything's sleeved up, I'm a little apprehensive to doing any of that. Some cool artwork though. So there's your power cards, your 5 zones of manipulation, 5 organization coherence trackers, shutdown cards, basic cards, so those are basic cards. Lowest clearance token 6 sided die facility. I just want to see first game setup, the facility, 5x5 grid. Whoa. Whoa! There we go. That's kind of what I was thinking of. This kind of reminds me of the Transformers deck building game, but this does seem to have a little bit different of a setup. The setup is right there to actually see it. I'm interested in trying this out, but I do think it's going to take me a while, at least that first or second game. For this example of a setup, you have the 5 different organizations here, one here, one here, one here. And it does look like that team has a line, and that line is all of their team cards. And that goes for every single one of them. So I do think that's going to be interesting to see, and what the starting cards are and how people kind of go from there. I think this is going to be an interesting game. I don't know if this one would be a long-term game for me and my friends because this is just the one, you know. The fun thing about the DC one is that there's so much going on there, and there's going to be more as of this month in April 2024. And I actually can't wait to get that stuff. Now, the thing I'm looking forward to, or not looking forward to, but gonna have to get done, is sleeve all this before I attempt to do anything with it. And I think since I haven't used the color before, I'm thinking a blue, a light blue sleeve for these. There's a kind of a blue accent there, so I think that'll work pretty well. Well, guys, that's it for Valiant Universe, the deck building game. I think I may have seen one expansion, so I'm going to look out for that to see if it's not priced terribly, and I might add it to the ever-growing list of games that we have here that we will be playing in the future. That's all for now, guys. Manjoume out.